Eddie, My Life as a Dog is rather sweet. There are some gorgeous photos in it, but I didn't really love it. And there are two reasons for that, and I'll talk about those in a moment. This is written by Brian Hargrove, who is, just as a point of interest, married to David Hyde Pierce. And this is, of course, the autobiography of Moose, who played Eddie on Frasier for a good chunk of the series before he was taken over by his son Enzo. This was published in 2000, so the TV show had been on for quite a good number of years by this point. And in general, the book is quite pleasant. There are some gorgeous photos. I won't show them all, but just a little look through. That's Moose's mother and his father. And puppy Moose, he is absolutely ridiculous. And there we have teeny tiny Enzo. And Moose and Enzo. I'm sure I read somewhere that they actually didn't get along, Moose and Enzo. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, we have nice layout, beautiful to look at. I won't stop on all the pictures as I won't give it all away. But in general, I think the layout is good. It's well written in terms of the grammar and things. So I don't have any major complaints there, but the two reasons I didn't like it are, A, I don't like the character of Moose. I don't like the personality they've given him. As you can see here, it is written in first person from Moose's perspective, which I don't hate. I don't think that was a bad idea necessarily, but he comes across as really unlikable and really big-headed and full of himself, and it kind of comes across as what Frasier would think Moose would be like. Whereas that's not my reading of Moose. Of Eddie. And obviously reading this, I'm feeling like I'm reading about Eddie as well. And I don't get that perspective when I'm looking on screen. I don't look at Eddie and think that Moose is different, because deep down we know he's not really acting because he's a dog, and as far as I know, dogs can't comprehend acting. Tricks and performances, yes, but becoming a different character, not so much. So the Eddie we see on screen is also Moose, if that makes sense. And this is just not the personality that I'm getting. I don't like it. I didn't enjoy his attitude, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't love it. The other reason is because I don't know how much of this is true. There are some things that definitely sound realistic. For example, we learn about his kangaroo jump, when, if you've seen the show, you'll see Eddie jumps up and down, and that was quite fascinating, and I feel like that's very accurate. There are things that are definitely not true. I don't know if any of it's on screen, on the page at the moment, but for example, we're told about how Moose, apologies if I mix the two up, how Moose would watch dogs on television and he knew he wanted to be an actor, and obviously that's fabricated because we can't possibly know that. And that's fair enough, but there are things like this section, just as an example, where we have the cast of Frasier sitting down talking with Moose. I have no idea if any of the names here, David Hyde Pierce, John Mahoney, Kelsey Grammer and Jane Leaves, actually had any involvement in this, or if it's completely fabricated. I don't mind that so much, but we have tidbits of information. For example, we have here, and Moose is asking questions, and Mahoney says there, "The 2 times you bit me." Is that fabricated for comedy and to make this conversation flow, or did Moose actually bite John Mahoney? And that may seem like a really small thing, but there are so many times throughout the book where we're giving little tidbits of information, and I just think, is that true? Or is it fabricated to help the narrative flow? And I kind of wish, as I said, I don't hate that it's written in first person, but I kind of wish that it was just more of a third person biography of Moose and how he came to get the role. We do get some information on that, fair enough, and what it was like working with him and little anecdotes from set, and I think that just would have been more enjoyable. Instead, they've taken a creative approach, but one that leaves me, first of all, not liking Moose's attitude, which is not a sentence I thought I'd say, and second of all, not knowing how accurate this is. As I said, there are some aspects that are very clearly accurate. Moose describes what a typical week on set is like and things like that. That definitely is very real. And there are things, as I said, that are not true, basically, whenever we hear about his internal thoughts, because how could we know? But then there are just little things here and there that make me question, how accurate is this? And I find that to be really frustrating, because I want everything in this to be true, but it wouldn't be completely unbelievable for things to have been made up just to help Moose's own story flow or to be more comedic or engaging. So I loved the photos. I loved learning about Moose's time on set and how he initially got into training and what that journey was like. That was all really interesting. But for me, I wish they'd done more of that and made it more about, well, insights into the industry with anecdotes about Moose's time. So yes, creative. No, I didn't love it. But yes, I do absolutely adore the photos. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's not terrible, and I do recommend it if you're a Frasier fan. If you're a Moose fan or an Eddie fan, certainly give it a read. But for me, it just wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. It wasn't as informative as I wanted it to be. And the facts we are given, I'd say a lot of them, I don't know if they're real or not. If anybody can confirm that absolutely every word in this is 100% true, save for whenever we're hearing Moose's thoughts and what he believed or what he wanted out of his life, things that we can't quite know, then please feel free to share. But for now, I can say Eddie, My Life as a Dog, may not be perfect, but if you're a Frasier fan, it's still worth reading.